Marriage was strained and then she cheated, kind of. Update asterisk I found out yesterday, June 21, 2023, that she was not wearing her rings the day this happened. She took her rings off hours before the below story occurred. Apparently she assumed our marriage was coming to an end anyways, so she took her rings off so that she could get attention and be flirted with at the bar that evening. She claims that in doing this she was not intending to cheat, and didn't intend for it to go as far as it did. Here's the story. A few months ago my wife and I started having very heavy discussions about our relationship and futures together. After I started therapy 8 months ago I realized that I was carrying a lot of baggage from our relationship, particularly in the ways she 26 female has treated me 27 male throughout our relationship. Of course every relationship has its tensions, but for the most part, I've been an incredible partner to her. I really have been, I'm not just saying that. She wholeheartedly agrees with that, and acknowledges and has apologized for the shitty ways she's treated me throughout our relationship. Anyways, a few months back, I brought this to light. I started expressing how I have been hurt by our relationship and I'm not sure what to do with that hurt. In all the conversations, she asked if I wanted to stay together because of all of this. My answer at that time was, I think so, but I need some time to process the ways you've treated me before I can answer firmly. I've now had 2 therapists that have confirmed this was the right decision for me to make, given that in the past, our relationship has been a lot of her pushing me to do things I'm not ready for and a lot of me people-pleasing in order for her to not break up with me or end our marriage. While I was hesitant and dealing with the hurt of the past 5 years of our marriage, my wife's response was I love you, I'm sorry I hurt you but it's all in the past, and I want to make our marriage work moving forward. 3 days later, we come to the cheating kind of. Definitely can be labeled as so. My wife felt very blindsided by my response. Up until that moment, her life was perfect. She's gotten everything she wanted out of our relationship and has left me with the pain of how she treated me along the way. She kind of just forgot. Nevertheless, she felt hurt, and during a weekend out of town with a friend, let a guy buy her drinks at a bar for an entire evening, and then ended up making out with him at the bar on one of the bar couches. The kicker is, one of our best friends 27 female was with her, and actually encouraged her to do this, because naturally, I'm the asshole for calling my wife out for the shit ways she's treated me. It didn't stop there. My wife then left the bar at 2 a.m., and somehow called the guy or he called her, somehow he got her number during the evening. She then invited him to her Airbnb where they made out on the couch for some unknown amount of time. Outside of that it's pretty vague to me, although she swears she didn't sleep with him. My wife told me 24 hours after she got home. So I appreciate her honestly, but also, she definitely trickle-truthed me. She told me okay, something happened, somebody kissed me. And it took me 2 to 4 days of question asking to actually get the full picture from there. Even weeks later, I was still filling in the gaps. The whole evening, the making out, the flirting, inviting him to her Airbnb and making out more, all of that came out from my question asking. I don't know what to do at this point. We have 2 young kids, she's a stay-at-home mom, I run a business and support our family in that way. We're in marriage counseling now. She is owning her shit. But there's a part of me that can't get over the fact that she looked me in the eyes and said the hurt is in the past and I want to make our marriage work better moving forward, and then 3 days later, essentially cheated on me. Edit to add, she says they didn't have sex. While this seems sketchy since she was drunk and already did a fair share, there were 2 other people that came over with him from the bar, and her lifelong friend was there in the Airbnb as well, perhaps in another room. So it was something of a group environment. She wasn't alone. But she did have her own room at the Airbnb. Edit to add, lifelong friend of my wife is 27 female. She has also been a good friend of mine for 8 years. Her husband was my best man. She encouraged my wife to cheat on me and egged her on throughout the evening to start and continue going with the guy. Obviously my wife's actions are my wife's own responsibility. But having a friend do this instead of putting a limit on my wife's drinks or telling her to slow down and think about what she was doing, adds another layer of hurt. Update asterisk I found out yesterday, June 21, 2023, that she was not wearing her rings the day this happened. She took her rings off hours before the below story occurred. Apparently she assumed our marriage was coming to an end anyways, so she took her rings off so that she could get attention and be flirted with at the bar that evening. She claims that in doing this she was not intending to cheat, and didn't intend for it to go as far as it did. But of course the question is, if you didn't intend to cheat then why take your rings off at all? Was that really going to help fix our marriage? This is the only completely new information about the night. Otherwise, things are somewhat at a standstill as we process through these events with a marriage counselor. Also important to note, that I do now consider her actions to be cheating, no maybe or kind of. She cheated. She has always labeled it cheating as well. She has assumed full responsibility and showed a ton of remorse throughout our conversations. I just wanted to highlight this as the below text is copied and pasted from my post in early June.